Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. This is, I believe, the fifth series in the Aloft demo game. It's been a really cool game so far. I've played through quite a bit of it already, and I believe I've discovered all of the islands and all of the special stones to get all of the various blueprints and things like that. So really in this episode, I was going to go over a few, tips and things, for those that are looking at the game and wanting to, or maybe having some problems on where to find things or how to do stuff or whatever. And I figured I would just give you guys a few of the tips that I've learned through the game, and even some that the developer kind of helped clue me in on, which was nice. And then really I haven't built anything, so I was going to build a little hut or house or something for my bed. I've just kind of stuck everything out here in the open, and it's really not organized or anything like that. So yeah, so let's get started with one of the first tips in the game. When you first start playing, you end up on a really large island with most of the resources that you need to kind of get going. So you'll start chopping down trees and making your first item, like a axe or pickaxe or something like that, with some of the rocks and things. That's kind of the first thing that you kind of gather, or some of the small trees and leaves and things like that. And then like something that a lot of people want to start doing right away is try to start flying their island. And I've noticed a lot of people who kind of jump in. That's like the first thing they want to do, right? So they go through and they gather all the materials and they get everything, and they start putting up all these sails up on the island. And then as soon as they stick the helm up, it's like, oh, this island's too big to fly. So I'd suggest, like, get started on the larger island and then focus on a smaller island, maybe something like this one over here that's kind of floating around, and then start building that up. It's a little easier to navigate. It's kind of easier to see where you're going. Also, I'm on actually a fairly large island that I didn't expect to start flying, actually, and this one did. So this is kind of I would say a larger medium size island, and this one goes pretty good, but I'm not really sure if there's a big difference between the speed. The smaller ones may be faster or easier to navigate or something, because this one, when the wind goes too much to the side of you, then you don't really go forward very much. And so you have to kind of only go where the wind's going, which makes sense because, you're sailing it like a boat. But yeah, so that's kind of like, what you need to do to get started. You want to start flying, is make sure you choose a smaller island to start, building your sails on. The next thing is, once you start getting your items and you start finding all of the rocks, all of the, I don't know what they're called, the ruins, the rocks, it's where you get your blueprints from. When you just start discovering those, make sure you start getting them automated with these windmills. The windmills need to be pointing into the direction of the wind. And at first, when I first started, I didn't really know which direction the wind was going. It was kind of hard to tell, unless you're flying your island already. But if you're trying to automate before you start flying, because you do have to start building up resources and things like that before you can build the sails and get your island moving. I didn't really understand where the best location for the windmill was, but as you can see, I have 3 here, and they're always going now. And if you look up and you just kind of look, you'll see, let me see if we can see this. You'll see there's like little streaks that go through the sky. That's kind of the direction of the wind. And if you have these facing, the opposite of that, then they move at a pretty steady rate, some faster than others. And I do think that, like, if you have one windmill in front of another like this, then this one isn't getting all of the air, like it's being blocked from the one that's in front. I've noticed that with the sails too. So if you stack a bunch of sails together, the ones that are in front of those sails, if they're too close, don't seem to be as efficient. And I'll show you what that means in here in a sec. But yeah, and then also you can kind of go into the forest over here. So if you go into the trees will drop leaves, and you can see, like right here, see those leaves? That's another way to tell which way the wind is going. And that helps you figure out, where to place the windmills and things like that. It tells you that, like, when you place one down. So if you place a windmill, you go into your inventory and where are they? Here they are. and you place one, it'll say, in the corner to align it with the wind. But, it's using the leaves as an example, and I didn't have any leaves on my island. Like, I'd already cut down all the trees, and so nothing was falling in the direction of the wind. So then that's when I realized that you can actually just stand back, and if you look, you can see the wind streaks fly by, and you can use that as an indicator to how to line these things up. So that's kind of like a big tip there if you want to keep these things moving pretty much all the time. And these probably change, like the wind direction probably changes when you move your island, and so you probably want to park your island and move it with the wind going in this direction of these windmills, so that they stay efficient, and that way everything automates with these things right here. So you can see the windmills connect with these little pulley systems, and you can tie rope to it, and then you can automate multiple devices. So this one's for milling various wheat and bone and sugar cane, and then you can use these things to cook with. You can make foods and stuff like that, like over here. So yeah, I made something. I didn't even know I had anything there. And then this is one of the other more important things, which is the loom, which you get kind of later as you discover more of the stones. I'd say you get these kind of towards the last of the blueprints that you receive. You'll end up getting the flax break and the spinner and the loom kind of all at the same time. I think the first one you get is, I think it's the spinner or maybe it's the flax break. And then once you get that, you break down some flax into fiber, and then you can take the fiber and you can put it into one of the spinners, and you get the option to start doing that. And this allows you to make rope, which is important for making some of the weapons. And then what I've started doing is getting a lot of flax, making the sails over here, which I think are like linen sails. So one of the first materials you get to start making is the like leaf cloth, and then later you can make the linen cloth. And the linen cloth is, I think, supposed to be much stronger and last, because your sails do get torn and ripped apart when you get high winds and things like that I've noticed. I haven't really figured out what exactly is doing the destruction to the sails. I know there is like a rift that comes along of high winds that you have to put the sails down for. And sometimes I see my sails get destroyed before that hits. And then sometimes I leave the sails up, or down or whatever, with the rift, and it doesn't seem to do anything, but just sometimes it gets hard to steer the island in the right direction though. And your navigation thing is going all over the place. That's one thing I've noticed. And then, like another big tip is basically when you start getting some of these machineries to obviously get them automated and set them up to where they're fairly close to each other. That way you can use the rope and tie them all together and start having them automate all at the same time without having to build a windmill for each one. Because you can actually see from right here, I have one windmill powering 2 different machines. And I did have more machines hooked up to just one windmill, but it seems like the more I would put in line, the slower it was, doing its production. And so I've just kind of noticed that. The compost, I don't have anything hooked up to it because I haven't really seen a real need to use it. You just put in some leaves, and when you put a leaf in, it automates the thing, and then it creates soil. So I haven't really had an issue with soil, because once you get a spear or a hoe or whatever you want to call this, you just hit the dirt and it gives you soil, and then you can put it right back down. So, I made this little path, and I ended up with enough soil to do whatever. This is where I end up growing like all of the flax for making the rope and the linen. That's something that I would recommend is, in order to get the fiber, you have to go to the infected islands and kill the creatures and disinfect the island basically, and and cleanse it. That's great, but you don't get really a lot of fiber. And so I was like running out of fiber, and then I discovered flax. And so once you get this machine here, you can take the flax and you can break down the flax into fiber. Then once you get that, come over here and put the fiber into the loom, and you can create more like linen or more leafy sails or whatever you want at that rate with that. So I started like growing a whole bunch of this flaxseed stuff. Kind of a weird thing. I didn't know, you know, flax was a fibery kind of thing, but over here you can see I have a whole bunch on these little planters. And that's another thing, is get some planters, start planting them, and start your farming, because everything kind of takes time, and these things take a lot of time and a lot of water, I've noticed. So I put this water down, and you have to come in and keep everything watered up. A lot of times it rains, and that does the job. But if you're sitting still, then you need water. So, and there does seem to be, I don't really know why, but there really isn't a limit to how much water you can store that I've noticed. I mean, I don't know. I put in like 200 things of water. So you go to my tab here, and I don't know if it tells me how much I have, which I don't see that it does. But I don't know if there's a place that shows you where or how much water you have. So you end up getting this dirty water. It says 6 here, but I know that I end up getting like 200 things of, you know, I don't know what the unit of measurement is, but 200 bowls of water and all at once, and it didn't really affect anything. So, I mean, besides I can seem to water my plants all the time without having to fill it. So that might be a bug or something that just hasn't been fully developed into the game. You know, I've noticed a few things like that with, you know, say you go to repair one of your sails, it will just let you keep repairing it over and over, which just costs like 5 leafy things every time you repair it. And so if you don't pay attention, you'll just overspend and use up all your resources repairing a sail, because it won't tell you to stop. The dev did, you know, leave a comment on one of my videos telling me that was like a bug that they're working on. So I'm sure there's a few more, like with the water and a few other things like that. That is one of the tips, you know. And then also when you're placing down the sails, since I talked about that, when you have a sail, and this took me a bit to figure out, like I totally missed it. And it's just kind of subtle. Like I think the message on how to place it should be more like in the middle of the screen, or maybe it's just me, I don't know, but I totally missed this. So it tells you like to align the sail into the direction of, you know, of your island. And so I was just like sticking it around, placing it in the direction of the wind, like I was doing this. But if you look down here, you can see that there is a blue box or a blue triangle that is right there. And then you can see the picture of the sail as you rotate it. If you stick it in line with the blue or the blue little triangle like that, then it's in the right direction, right? So now you have a sail that's pointing in the right direction for your island. And so that seems to make a difference, so that you know which direction to put your sails down. But otherwise they end up all over, you know, pointing every direction possible, because it's really hard to tell just by looking at one, which way they're all facing. And then another trick here is how to delete something, because I kept thinking you'd walk up to it and it shows me a picture of a hammer, and I was like getting my hammer out and trying to tear it down. And, you know, there are some games where you use the hammer to repair and then also destroy at the same time, you know, depending on what button you click. With this, it's more, you just put a sail down. So you come over here, select your sail, and then you hold the right mouse button. It highlights red, and then you just click the other mouse button, the left mouse button, and then it goes away. So that's how you get rid of a sail or kind of destroy something. So if I wanted to get rid of my bed, I would do the same thing. And I don't think it has to be specific. I don't think you have to click the bed to that. I can use a sail and then get rid of the bed. So as long as I just have an item in my hand, basically. Let's see. So definitely create your farming plots right off the bat. Tomatoes I like a lot because they grow really fast. So I think these are one of the fastest items that grow. They don't seem to require a lot of water. They grow pretty fast, and you can come over here and make, you know, a soup out of it, right? So you can just throw in 3 tomatoes. You can hold down F to make it faster. If you do it too much, like that, it will burn it, and then it will not be good. So if I just hold this down, it burns it. So if I do this again, then I can speed it up a little bit. And once you have your tomato soup or whatever it makes. I'm not really sure what 3 tomatoes make. You can mix and match, so you can put in like a potato and some pumpkin, or some other ingredients like sugar cane or something like that. And I don't know what the specifics are. So here's a mixed veggie, but see, it gives you max 28 extra hit points and then 10 minutes of stamina. And so that really helps out when you're flying around, you know, to various islands over here, because your stamina meter, you know, starts to go down, and it basically, you know, extends that meter. And so you can kind of go to more islands and not have to worry about running out of juice, so to speak. I've noticed, like over here, you can kind of see those islands that are blinking. They are actually moving. So in like a group. I feel like I should try to chase one. I don't know if I have enough sail power to do that. All right, so it's kind of gotten dark. Let's take a nap. There we go. That way we can see everything. Yeah, so over here, I think we have some carrots. Yeah, so the carrots grow pretty quick too. And the tomatoes, I think, grow quick. And the flax, I try to keep watered. That's the one thing that, you know, seems to take a while. So these are all grown up. So now you use a sickle and you just whack them down, and you start getting all of your flax to make fiber with. So let's chop all this up. Till the soil. So you just whack, 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 bam, 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 bam. So the spear and a lot of the weapons have like a thing, like if you do it real fast, then the third strike, it does like a, well, I thought it did. It did like a there you go. It does like a triple stab or a triple hit. So yeah, so now it's ready for planting. So I usually like to just select the seed and then I can just place it down faster. Otherwise you have to hit E, and if you're not selected, it gives you an option, and then you place it down. It gives you an option, you place it down. It gives you an option. So if you just have it in your inventory, you can just hit E and then run and then just place it down much faster. Then you come and water everything. Oh, I ran out of water actually. Okay. Been doing this a bit with flax stuff. So we'll take what I have left and we'll put it in the flax break. So there we go. We'll throw all that in there, and then we'll let the windmills power that and chomp all that stuff up so that we can make more sails. Oh yeah. So when you're floating around and discovering on different islands, and you're, you know, looking at which island to go to, and you start, you know, bouncing from one to the next, make sure you pay attention to some of the items that you may miss, which would be bones. So I went to a bunch of islands before I ever noticed that there are bones in a game. And same thing with like coal. So in some of the islands, there are caves that have coal in them. And that's how you come over here and you keep your fire going, which I haven't had the fire run out once. So I'm not really sure how much or how long these last. Again, this is like a pre-alpha, so maybe that a timer hasn't been applied to these or something for how long the fire will last. But yeah, but the bone was important because it allows you to build better weapons. So if you come over here, you have your regular axe, and then you have a bone axe that you can get. And so over here, the damage, you know, is lower, and it's a tier 1, and over here it's the tier 2. It's a little faster, and it has a little bit higher damage, and maybe a bit stronger knockback. So that's a big tip with the axe, is when you're fighting the fungi, you know, monsters or whatever. The sword does good damage, but it doesn't have a knockback, so they just keep jumping at you and will, you know, kill you pretty quick on some of these creatures. So if you use an axe, it will actually knock back the monster and possibly knock it right off the island. So it's a little slower to swing, but it does the knockback, which I found to be pretty handy. All right, so I had to take a little nap before heading to the center of the hurricane. And uh, while I took a nap, I decided to uh, get up in the middle of the night and sleepwalk and do some extra building. And so I made me a new little house hut. I wanted to basically experiment and play around with some of the other type of materials and see what I could do with it after building that little house on the ground floor. And so I built this up where I had my little navigation wheel, and I put my new linen sails up, so hopefully they're a little bit more durable than the previous ones, and decided to do this. So we'll go check this out real quick. I'll head down here, smack, and we will go up and check out the new little home here. So I added a little fireplace and some planter boxes that I'm not really sure what to do. Aha, can add some soil, add some dirt, plant some flowers, have my bed, a little pet rocks. So I set my pet rocks up around, added some lights, some windows. So this is the helm area, and this is the steering wheel and my little buddies right there. And we come down, I added some curvy stairs with some rope so I don't fall off. Hey, I must have forgot a rope. Gotta fix that real quick. There we go. Snap. So it doesn't always, there we go. Wait, oh gosh. Okay. All right, so there is the rope railing all fixed so I don't fall off. Can look out, got a full roof on this thing. We can walk outside around to the front. Probably should add some rope railings around the side so no one falls off. And that's about it. You know, there's still not a lot of materials to really jazz up the place, but we have some windows. I did find we had some round windows too to place, and so that kind of gives us that little ship portal effect, which is kind of cool. Put some cool little sun rays and light onto the floor. Oh, see my shadow. Hey, what's up, man? Me and my bald head. And now we can fly. So here is the whole island. So like I said, this is a medium sized island, and I have a bunch of sails over here, a lot of rudders, and this is where I've been adding my windmills and things like that. Now you can see they're not turning because the wind is going in a different direction now. So in order to make them start going, I can steer the island into the wind a little better and they'll start turning. Let's see as I navigate. They should start going. Here they go. All right, so now we can kind of, there we go. So now we have them going. I don't know how far I need to go, but our journey right now is to the center of the hurricane. So we are going to set this thing into gear and let's go. I am going in the wrong direction. We need to go that way. So let's turn around. Hopefully the wind is cooperating because I need to go that way. And that looks like that's against the wind. Okay. So I guess we're going 69 knots, 71, 72. All right. I think we're going. Oh, my sails are all messed up down there already. Wow. Okay. So that's what I was talking about before. If we kind of zoom in, you can see how the sails get all messed up. But these seem to be hanging in there so far. So I'm not really sure when that happened. If I hit F, it will tell me, ooh, yeah, like what the stress is on them. So I guess because we're going into the wind or not really optimized, I think if we went this way, they'll start turning green. See, and we start gaining speed too. But we're not going into the center, so we're going to have to go this way and try to make it to the center if we can. idea where the center is anymore. Oh. Are we in the center? Oh my gosh, I don't even know where my guy... Where? I feel like we're in the center now. This feels pretty center to me. I don't see anything happening. Should I climb up? Nope, it's not going any higher. Wonder if I go lower. What happens if I go to the very bottom? Let's do that. Let's go as far as we can down. And we're definitely in the center though. So I have it like full forward and we're not going anywhere. Let's really get into the center now. Yeah, let's stop. I think when it's swirling all around us, the wind is going all around, I think that's the time to... Okay, oh, that's, I think that's as low as it will take us. 95 meters. So, huh. Okay. I have to say I was expecting something. I don't know what, but, you know, at least a message pop up. But I kind of got a message pop up early on, and I was on the outside of this thing. It wasn't on the inside like we are now. And it basically just said, you've reached the end, and enjoy running around and keep playing and doing your thing. So that's what I did. Built that crazy thing. Figured out how to build some better tools. How to do some farming. And how to use all of this equipment and connect it together. So I think we've done everything that this demo has to offer. Got some tomatoes. Lots of tomatoes. I mean, I can't tell you how many tomatoes we got. So we'll just make a lot of tomato stew. And hey, my fire went out. Okay. I sure squat a lot for some reason. Okay. All right. Well, hey guys. So I think that's the end of this demo. And we have gone to the center of the hurricane and done everything I think we can do so far. So I've really enjoyed checking this pre-alpha. There we go. And I think this is going to be a really great game once they add some more content, you know, and figure out the full story of this thing. I'll be very interested to see if we get some animals or critters or different monsters. Like, how expanded are they going to take this? You know, that'd be really great. And to figure out, you know, what was the challenge of getting to the center of the hurricane? Because I just kind of flew straight into it. You know, it'd be nice if besides the wind rifts, you know, things like that, that we, maybe other islands we have to, you know, intercept with us or something. We have to deal with more infections, maybe infection on our own island and own creatures that pop up, and we have to continue cleansing our own island as we fly through toxic clouds or a toxic layer of the hurricane. You know, that would be kind of a cool thing. So, you know, be interested to see where they take this, you know, and figure it out. Oh gosh, what the heck just happened? So I don't know what's coming through now. It's getting all black. What the heck? So anyway, all right, well, that's going to be the end of this series, and I'm going to start another game and we'll check it out. So come back, subscribe to the channel. Please keep the comments coming and whatever, and I will see you guys in the next game.